Hello everyone, welcome to this examination solution, and we're going to discuss SENSHU Math 2016 Part 1. And SENSHU here is said for the Special Training College student. Okay, so number 1, the number of integers x that satisfy the following inequalities: x squared minus 5x plus 1 is less than 0. So basically we have to find the interval of x that satisfy this equation, and because this is a quadratic equation, we can either use the factorization or another formula. But because we didn't find any factorization from here, we have to use this one, minus b plus and minus the root of the discriminant 2a. And you know that the general quadratic equation is this form, right? So this b is the constant, there is minus 5, so that is 5 plus and minus. D is the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So b is minus 5, we square that into 25, minus 4ac, which is 1, right? We divide it by 2, and the a, the constant, is 1. So that is 5 plus or minus the root of 21 over 2. Okay, so from here we get the interval, that is 5 minus root of 21 over 2, 5 plus root 21 over 2. Okay, and from there we should predict what is the interval of the integer, and we can predict that root 21 is a little more than 4, right? Because 4 is root 16, but it is less than root 25, which is 5. So basically we can predict, let's say that is 4.3, right? So we change it into 4.3. So 5 minus 4.3, let's say 0.7, divided by 2 is 0.35. Either way, this value would be this is 5 plus 4.3, which is 9.3 over 2, let's say 4.5. So basically the interval of the integer is 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So the number of integers x that satisfy the following inequalities is 4. There are 4 integers. Okay, now for number 2 we have the interval, and then the root of a squared plus 2a plus 1 plus root of a squared minus 4a plus 4 equals what? Okay, so this is actually, we can factorize into this form, and this we can shorten into this form. Now we could not simply just take the values that way, because then the value of a would be, this is equals to 2a minus 1, right? But the a is in the interval. So because the root of something, the square root of something is not, for example, this root 16 can be equals to 4 and minus 4. So basically we use this interval to determine whether the result is the positive value or the negative value. Okay, the way to do that is, we got here the number that we can predict that this interval is between 0.9 to 1.9, right? And if we put any number in this formula, we can get the positive value, so we can determine this as the positive value from the root. But if we put any number to this value here, it will become negative, right? So this value of the root is the negative value, so that is minus, so this is plus of the minus a minus 2, right? So that is a plus 1 minus a plus 2, so that is 3. Okay, so that is for number 2. And now for number 3, it says 2 to the power of x minus 2 to the power of minus x equals 4. Then 2 to the power of 2x plus 2 to the power of minus 2x equals what? And 2 to the power of 3x minus 2 to the power of minus 3x. Okay, so basically this we can turn that into that form, right? And this is 2. And we can, let's say, assume that 2 to the power of x is y. So let's say y, so to ease our calculation. And to get this formula, this is actually squared of that, right? If we square this, so this y squared minus 2 plus 1 over y squared, which is 16. So we get this equals 18. So now we get that this value is 18, right? And then to get this value, we should multiply that with y minus 1 over y, right? And when we calculate that, this is equals to 18 times 4, which is 72. And when we calculate it one by one, this y to the power of 3 minus y plus 1 over y minus 1 over y to the power of 3 equals 72. And now you can see that we can actually form here that this is minus 4, right? And that will become 76. So y to the power of 3 minus 1 over y to the power of 3 is 76, right? So that is for number 3. The answer is this form is 18 and this form is 76. Okay, now let's go to number 4. For number 4, it says that the logarithm with base 3 x minus 3 minus logarithm with the base 9 x minus 1 equals 0. So x is what? And now just for the sake of this video, I will move the base 2 up. It's only, I used to do the logarithm this way. So this is what I mean. 3 logarithm x minus 3. It's just the same. Okay. Okay. Now we should find the x. We can turn 9 into 3 to the power of 2. Okay. And now we could turn this 0 into base logarithm with base 3, 1, right? So we can move here to become a half, right? And then we can move this to become root, to the power of half. Okay, and now if we have the logarithm with the same base and it is either subtraction or addition, you can actually combine that. If you have addition, you multiplied it, and if you have subtraction, it becomes divided this way. And now with the logarithm with a different side but we have the same base, we can actually eliminate the log, so it will become x minus 3 over root of x minus 1 equals 1, right? And we can move that to up, and we can square it to find the x, right? So x squared minus 7x plus 10. So there is x minus 2, x minus 5 equals 0. So x is 2 or x is 5. The value when we test 2 to here is that this will become minus, right? But you cannot have minus in the content of the logarithm. In the content of logarithm, it should be greater than 0. Okay, so this is prohibited. If you test 5, you see that all become positive in the content, and yeah, so the answer is x is 5.